Hey, it's Adams here on behalf of Apex Trader Funding, and I'm here today with Trader John, another paid funded trader with Apex Trader Funding. John, first and foremost, congratulations on the recent payout, man. Is this the first one, or is this one of several?
It was one of several. I took 3 payouts so far since the end of January. So
pretty much 3 back-to-back, man. That's a nice little start of consistency there as well. Being the first time that we've had a chance to really chat and kind of have this conversation, everybody always wants to know how you got started, what the early days of the trading journey looked like for you. How long have you been at it?
About 5 years now. I got started in a Robinhood account, like everyone did during the COVID days, and didn't know at all what I was doing. I would win some, I would lose some, and I started thinking, if I actually learned how to actually trade, I could actually make good money doing this. And I started watching YouTube videos and technical analysis videos and books and whatnot. A lot of it is, just charlatans. You got to weed the bad from the good and take what you think you can actually use.
And of course, everybody also has to find the strategy that's, I guess, most consistent with their personality and their risk tolerance and, the stomach for the trading process as well. So it's obviously a journey. Now, for you, how did that journey progress? You got started with Robinhood. Where did you go from there? How did that move for you?
Yeah, so I actually started learning an actual strategy from a trader that's been in the markets for 30 years now. He just retired, so I'm not gonna give his name out. He's been pretty spot on with the markets for a long time now, and he has a track record that's pretty amazing. 80% plus of his trades are wins and a really good day trading strategy. After I found him, I built up an account big enough that I could start day trading, and I started building that account up in a swing trading account. And then I kind of realized it'd be nice to have some more liquidity, and I started seeing, I'm sure, targeted ads from all these different prop firms. A lot of them, they look like scams, the systems that they use are so confusing. And then I started looking deeper into prop firms, and I found Apex. I'm like, oh, this actually looks like a good company where you can use Tradeabate or Rhythmic, and those look like good systems to use. So I gave Apex a shot, and I'm sure like a lot of people, I blew up some accounts when I first started because I had never traded futures before. I was always equities, and I was using way too big of size when I first started, and then I cut myself down to 1 micro because I was using 50K accounts. And once I did that, I just started being so consistent with my trading and just piling up those small wins, whether it was $50 a day or $300 a day. It adds up in a quick hurry when you just take your time.
That's such a valuable point. I hear this over and over. The old adage, slow and steady wins the race. I think it's obvious from a logical standpoint to most traders, if they've been around trading the markets for any period of time. I think this deep down. But then there's the emotional side of things. Did you struggle with that at all? Or did you really just start to see the little wins pile up and realize that this was the route for you?
I definitely struggled with it because when I first started trading futures with Apex, to be honest, I didn't even know what a micro was. Just was using minis, and going from the minis to then micros, seeing the amount of money you can make with the minis versus the micros, it's daunting. You have to put yourself into perspective. It's like, you can blow an account so fast if you're just using minis and you have the wrong level. But yeah, it was definitely a struggle because you see I usually trade NQ, you see $400, $800 in a quick hurry. If you have the right level, but then you go down to $150, $75.
Oh, on the micros, yeah.
The micros, yeah. Yeah, so it was something I had to deal with when I first started using the minis, but you just have to talk yourself into, this is a long-term thing. You're not going to accomplish this right off the bat. Work your way up, get to that trailing stop where it stops following you at, with the 50s, 2,600, and then after that, you can take a payout every 8 days. And if you're making $100 a day, staying consistent, I'm at 20 accounts now.
Wow.
It's insane money. You could pull out 16 grand every 8 days if you're staying consistent.
On $100 a day.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, and that's such a valuable perspective. And I know that this is one of the things that a lot of traders love about Apex is the ability to have 20 accounts. For most traders, it's maybe not necessarily the wisest thing to start there, right? Build up, get some success, and expand. And not to say that it's not for everybody, but I think for most people, it's safe to say that grow your number of accounts the same way that you would grow your individual account. Now, let's talk a little bit about the psychology of trading, let's call it other people's money, trading in a funded account versus trading your own funds, because you did have that experience prior to coming into and working with Apex. Did you notice for you, in terms of either your psychology, your emotions, your heartbeat, your breath, whatever the case may be, when you were trading in a funded account versus your own funds, did you notice a difference for you?
I did when I first started my so-called real money in my actual account. It felt a lot more real to me than when I really started to realize what Apex could be for me. It turned into the same psychology. You need to treat this as real money.
Right.
If you don't, that's where you're just going to start gambling with it. And obviously that always leads to disaster, at least for me. Same psychology is definitely needed with this sort of thing, because if you don't treat it with respect, you're just going to lose it.
Well, and I absolutely think that there's two sides to the same coin. Yes, absolutely. When it's 30 to 80 bucks, whatever the case may be, to replace an evaluation, let's call it a $2,500 loss because you're on the 50Ks, right? Versus, that actual real gut feeling pinch of that's my savings that I saved up and deposited. I mean, there's definitely a psychological difference there. The flip side is a lot of traders find that it can be sort of calming to not necessarily have that anxiety of I lost my savings. So I think one of the things that I see consistent traders do over and over is find that balance between I'm not going to gamble this away because it's quote unquote so cheap, because those add up over time too, right? But I'm also not going to get super scared to take an entry or take a recovery trade or chase trades or whatever the case may be, because it's just not that big a deal. And I think that finding that balance is where a lot of traders find that sort of rhythm or find that flow, if you want to call it that. You've got 20 accounts. You're slow and steady, small, consistent wins day after day, and you've hit those 3 sort of back-to-back payouts. What do you think's the next step for you? I mean, do you see yourself scaling up? Do you see yourself just sticking with the same type of numbers? Where do you see the next 3 to 6 months going for you?
I would like to build my 20 accounts up. I'm still building I started with 3 and I used profits from the 3 accounts to build myself up to 20 accounts. Now that I have those, I would say I'm looking to build the backstop up on those, over first 3,000 and then 5,000, because once you get a little bit more wiggle room in that trailing stop, you can use a little bit more size. Instead of using 1 micro, I could start doing 2 micros and then build it up even more to maybe like 7,500, maybe start doing 3.
Sure.
And then profits are going to get bigger. You're going to be able to take bigger payouts after the 3rd. So yeah, that's kind of where I see it going in the next 3 to 6 months.
I think it's a smart strategy, and one thing that I can say is I can see the consistency in the way that you're handling every piece of this sort of process, if you will. And again, I think this is one of the key ideas that, most traders, like I said, know logically. A lot of times, myself included, we struggle with the emotional side of following that logic, and it is a process, and it is ultimately comes down to whenever we're ready to make that decision, I think is when we start to see that consistent movement in the right direction, man. Well, listen, congratulations on the 3 payouts. I would love to catch up here a few months down the line and get a bit of an update, see how you're coming along, see how your growth curve is from there, if that sounds good to you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, man. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking some time and hanging out with me today. Keep doing what you're doing. Obviously, seeing some great growth. Can't wait to hear where things go from here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, listen, man, we'll chat soon.